What do you do for visuals when you record these?
Usually just put up an image up from Google search that best encapsulates what's being talked about, and I just have the audio flow over it.
Okay.
All right, so we're recording. I'm Matt.
I'm Aaron.
And we're talking one. So today we are doing the Marineford arc, which is
the War of the Best.
The War of the Best. It's sort of like the culmination of what started in Impel Down, and just to give you guys a catch up in case you haven't come straight over from the episode where we talk about Impel Down. Luffy went into prison to break out Ace, who is scheduled to be executed. Luffy has gathered a former warlord in Crocodile. He has some of Crocodile's underlings from Baroque Works. He's got Jinbei with him, so he's got two warlords, and he's got Buggy. He's got Mr. 3, and he's also got a small army of convicts with him.
Yeah.
So he's going to Marineford to stop Ace from being executed, and Whitebeard is on his way to Marineford as well. So it's going to be the Navy versus Yonko's force versus Luffy and his ragtag team, which also includes revolutionaries like Ivankov.
Even Cobb and Inazuma being humongous parts. He's basically gone into prison to break out his brother, and in true Luffy fashion, broken out everybody but his brother.
Yep.
Which is usually how that goes. It'd be very anticlimactic if he actually, succeeded for once.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up at the War of the Best. I believe the first sort of strangeness that they notice is that when they go to get into Marineford, their first concern is how are we getting through the gates? And I recall, if I remember correctly, the gates were just kind of open at the time.
Yeah, the gates were open. Like, the Navy was waiting for them.
They knew that the gates weren't going to stop the pirates, so why have them get damaged? Mm-hmm. And plus, I think there was an additional concern as far as the plan coming up later, with wanting to be able to close them in and needing working gates for that.
Well, that and the first thing the Navy does is they have the one admiral, Aokiji. Aokiji.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Wouldn't be one of ours if we pronounced everything's correctly. So,
yeah.
Aokiji freezes the entire as soon as Whitebeard gets in there. So the ships are stopped.
Yeah, that's their entire concept is we're going to let the ships in, we're going to freeze them in the center using ice, and we're going to bombard them from the sides.
Yep.
A simple tactical maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the battle begins and they rages on, and there's a whole bunch of interactions.
And depending on if you read the manga or if you watch the anime, like more goes on in the anime, so they stretch it out a little bit more. I know, it's sort of filler, but I don't know what kind of, if it was just extended or added entirely, because I know Jinbei versus Mihawk was not in the manga, but it was in the anime.
Yeah, there were a handful of battles that they added in. I mean, that sort of manga to anime is there's some room for wiggling there. I mean, you have to remember that action scenes in manga, you can have 2 chapters that are just action scenes, and for an anime, that's 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to add in a little. You want to talk about the revealed secret?
Okay, so kind of before the fighting starts, I want to say it was like Sengoku and Garp talking, where they're discussing this is the story of Ace. Really, we're introduced to Ace early on, and he's a part of the story for I want to say several years, but this is the story of Ace and what he meant to a lot of people. So Garp is telling Sengoku that Ace, that they're discussing it, that Ace was the son of Gold D. Roger.
Well, and they're doing more than discussing it. They're telling it to the world, man. It's Den Mushi.
Yep.
It's part of their display as to why Ace is so needing to die.
Yep. And because, like, even though Garp helped raise him after Gold D. Roger asked him to, like, just the concept of, this is my son, he's innocent.
He's done nothing wrong.
He's done nothing wrong. And Ace grew up hating who he was because he was the son of a pirate and he didn't want like people to, like, he even goes as far as to say that, like, Whitebeard is his true father over Goldie Roger.
Yeah. I mean, we're not just talking, of course, as you know, if you're listening to this, you more than likely know. You know, we're not just talking about him being the son of Goldie Roger, the Pirate King, the man.
Yeah, we're
the Lith, the legend. Let's not, you know.
Yeah,
he's not just some low-ranking 10 million bounty dude. We're talking about the guy who had it all. The very first anime intro, the very first time you read the manga, the wealth, the fame, the power, presumably the girls.
Yep.
Everything there is to want on this planet.
That was one of the things that they didn't get into. I don't know if they're going to explore it later, but...
what, the girls?
Well, no. Ace's mother, I want to say died in childbirth or something like that.
Not want to say. She definitely died in childbirth.
Oh, she did definitely? Okay.
Yeah, the whole concept is that
but
after Goldie Roger died, they started looking around for any kids he might have, and she somehow managed to keep Ace in her womb for a ridiculous amount of time, like something like 20 months.
Yep.
And then finally she gave birth, but the whole task just absolutely killed her.
Yep. Okay, so
and so that's that major reveal that happens.
But like, they don't go into, like, real detail about who his mother was. Like, they might explore it later.
We haven't met the Porcus line, just like we haven't dealt with Luffy's mother yet either. Even currently, we haven't. We have no idea who she is or if she's important.
I don't know. I always assumed that One Piece was just going to keep on that it's like the American sitcom tradition of dead mom.
I don't know.
Because, like, do you ever notice that in sitcoms, it's like, it's always a dead parent. Like, that's why there's always this, like, in Who's the Boss, it was dead dad. It was in Full House, it was dead mom, and then... So...
Maybe.
Alright, well, anyway, so, it's revealed that, like, Ace became, like, a Whitebeard pirate.
Yep.
And, like, he was trying to kill Whitebeard at the time, and then Whitebeard just took him under his wing. He was very avuncular like that. And...
Well, he basically wiped out his entire crew, but didn't kill them. Ace offered him his head instead of killing his crew's. And Whitebeard said, I'll let your crew go, but you're mine now, basically.
Yeah. And... like, Ace was very well respected in the Whitebeard Pirates. Like, he was, like, it comes out in this story that Whitebeard was kind of choosing Ace as his successor.
Mm-hmm.
And Ace's dream the whole time was to make Whitebeard the king of the pirates. Meanwhile, Whitebeard, like, in his later life, was trying to make Ace the king of the pirates. So,
well, it sort of made sense to Whitebeard. It sort of revealed that while they may have been enemies, Whitebeard and Goldie Roger had a high level of respect for each other.
Well, I wouldn't say they were friends. They were definitely rivals.
I think they were enemies. It's pretty much directly said they were enemies, but they still had respect for each other.
If I had to put it into, like they were Sanji and Zoro, in a sense, more so than if they had their own crews.
I don't know. That might be a little too nice. But anyway, the point being that, you know, they weren't crewmates by any means. But, you know, towards the end of his life, Goldie Roger went to speak to Whitebeard and talk to him about all this stuff. You know, the Will of D, which we still have no idea about, because everyone who knows it either says nothing or fucking dies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he talks about who he expects his successor to be, and he offers Whitebeard the map to One Piece.
Yeah.
But Whitebeard just basically says, nah, I'm good. I don't want it. I got everything I want. I want my family.
Yeah, Whitebeard, like, it comes out, like, in later arcs was...
No, it's this arc.
Nah, like, it's mentioned beforehand, but afterwards, like, it's discussed by people that, he became an emperor to protect people and to uphold certain, like, lines.
Yeah.
Because you definitely get the sense... trying to think, was Shanks revealed as an emperor before this, or
I think so.
So, anyway, it comes out, like, you get the sense that Shanks and Whitebeard are the good Yonko, whereas you don't know that much about Big Mom, but you get a sense that she's, like a ruthless person, and Kaido is hinted at, but all you know is that he's powerful. You don't necessarily get a sense of what his moral leanings are.
Yeah.
But, like, Shanks and Whitebeard are definitely, like, you get the sense that they're, like, the good ones.
They're the noble pirate. They have a code. They might be scoundrels, they might kill people. They have a moral compass.
Yeah, like...
and they follow it.
Yeah, there's so many reveals, like, about, like Whitebeard, I think, compromised in certain, like, areas. But, Shanks was... God damn. Okay, so, alright, just to move the plot forward, so... Once Whitebeard shows up, the fighting starts almost immediately. Like, there's a little bit of negotiation just so that they could try it, but
it's expected to fail.
It's like everyone knows it's gonna fail, so they just go straight to fighting, and then
there's some cool stuff in the fighting component. You know, we're introduced to a litany of characters that we have no idea exist.
Yep.
Or if we know they exist, we don't really know their extent. I mean, Phoenix Marco is one of the cooler looking ones. We meet Little Oars, which is sort of a little bit of a throwback to the Gecko Moria arc. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and quite frankly, the fact that they allowed Oars to fight was ridiculous because there was nothing he could ever do except for basically die on the battlefield. We find out about Diamond Jozu. We find out about there's a swordsman who likes to do Nitoryu. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bunch of people, and they are just absolutely going at it. People are just dying left and right.
Yep.
And then our hero from the skies.
Yep. He's got...
I don't even remember how did he even get in the skies? Do you remember? I don't remember.
I thought he had a ship, but I also thought...
yeah, but like they literally fall from the sky into the battlefield.
I want to say someone did something where the ship was like launched out of the ocean and then crashed down into the middle. I forget how he does it exactly.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. The question was how. That's exactly what happens.
Well, it's not like Ivankov injected it with hormones and the ship just flew.
I mean, I've heard less plausible things work in One Piece. But like an octopus acting like an umbrella all the way down from Sky Island.
Was it the entire ship, or
I think they like blew the ship up or something like that? Because it was in pieces.
I want to say like Buggy flew Luffy in.
No, they definitely fell out of the sky. I can find a picture if I had to.
All right, look that up. We have a computer in front of us. We might as well use it. So,
but you continue about what happened because we don't want to get too bogged down.
No,
I'll talk about Crocodile and Whitebeard while I'm looking it up.
So we're automatically like first things first. We find out that like Whitebeard has history with some of the pirates in Luffy's like ragtag crew. Dude, the video was right there. Luffy.
I don't want to watch a video while we're recording something.
Turn the sound off. Alright, it's a sneak attack from the Whitebeard Pirates. Alright, so they're automatically in the sky.
Ship coming downwards.
Yep, in the sky. And
looks like it came up over the ice wall. That's how it happened. Yeah, they came over Kuzan's ice wall.
Okay, no, Aokiji.
That's what I meant. Well, that's his first name, Kuzan.
Ah, okay. So...
You don't ever learn the character names while we're doing this, Matt?
It depends which ones you're talking about.
All of them.
The basic ones I'm pretty much going to know. Like, the ones that are simple, like Sengoku or Garp. But I know there's 3 admirals. Like, don't ask me a single goddamn vice admiral, because I know I ain't going to be able to do it.
Okay. So anyway, now that we've settled the how do they get in there thing, what does Crocodile do when he first gets there?
He goes after Whitebeard.
Yeah.
And they have a history. Crocodile was gunning for Whitebeard back in the day, before he was a warlord. And I think to the point, like, he was trying to become stronger to become a Yonko himself. So, Luffy puts a stop to it immediately, and that's hilarious.
Yeah, Luffy doesn't want him to hurt Whitebeard, not because he cares about Whitebeard in any way, but he knows that Ace likes him.
Yeah.
And that's enough reason for Luffy to go help or hurt anybody.
Well, the reason why Luffy got everyone out of prison was to get Ace, not to fight Whitebeard. So
yeah.
certain things come out of this. Like it's revealed that Buggy was on Goldie Roger's ship with Shanks.
Yeah, because essentially Luffy basically tells Whitebeard to go F off.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do what I want to do.
Yep, because Whitebeard wants him out of there. He doesn't want the extra help.
Well, it's not even that he doesn't want the extra help. He, rightly so, assumes that Luffy is not that strong.
Yep.
And he may be strong for a normal pirate, but when you're talking about the strongest of the New World, he's nothing.
Not even the strongest of the New World, the strongest in the Navy.
On both sides, he's a low-end fighter.
If there's a ulterior motive of this arc, it is to let people know that Luffy is not ready for the big time. Yeah. Because he has to go up against the admirals, the special leaders, his grandfather.
The vice admirals beat him.
Like I don't know. Did they all beat him up, or did he like?
He requires help to get away from almost every single one of them.
Ace is at the center of this. Like, this arc is wonderful in the sense that there is no real map. Because, like,
not needed. Everybody's in the same spot.
Everyone's in the same spot. Like, the idea is to get closer to Ace. Get to Ace. Get him
to
out.
Ace, grab Ace, leave.
And they can't do it.
Yeah. But so, Luffy says he's going to go help him. Whitebeard says, fine, do whatever you want. And Whitebeard recognizes Buggy. He doesn't really care about Buggy because he remembers Buggy being a little kid. But he notices that Buggy has all these pretty fighters that are, for some...
did they mention it in Impel Down that...
And every time Buggy does something stupid, you go, okay, finally this is going to end. They just see it in like the best possible light that could exist. Yep. And it just makes him more legendary in their minds. Mm-hmm. Like he has a conversation with Whitebeard and they go, oh my god, our captain is the most powerful pirate ever. He can talk on even terms with Whitebeard, even though Whitebeard's just goading and humoring him. It's Buggy's comic relief, so they take it to the utmost.
All right, and then the one thing that Luffy tells Whitebeard is that they're going to execute Ace early. Like they're not going to do it at a specific time.
Well, more importantly, he says he overheard that on the ship's ship speaker, which that sort of makes sense. If I were hiding someone and you wanted to save them, I would execute them now instead of later, so you couldn't possibly succeed. Because once Ace dies, game over, you lose. At this point, they're doing it publicly and not at the bottom of Impel Down.
Yeah.
A is a show of strength, and B to try and lure more people in to kill.
Yep. So, this is when the fighting really ramps up because Luffy's crew shows up. They bring out what are called the pacifistas.
Yeah, not even just because Luffy shows up, but just because the Marines are taking heavy losses, so are the pirates, of course.
Yeah.
But you're starting to see the difference between all the recruits in the Navy that rely on guns, and all the pirates who are capable of fighting with their hands and their teeth and their nails,
and devil fruit users and all
devil
that
fruit
stuff.
users all over the freaking place.
Yeah.
And in pirates, they're common. In the Navy, they have them, but they're not as often.
The foot soldiers are not the devil fruit users.
Whereas in the pirates, you have an entire crew, especially one of the caliber of Whitebeards that is specialized. Devil fruit users.
Yeah,
so they bring out the pacifistas to try and even the score.
Mm-hmm.
And the pacifistas are pretty neat because we haven't seen them before. To us, it just looks like a shit ton of Kumas popped up.
Well, I'm trying to remember if Kuma was at the
War of the Best. Yes.
No, not War of the Best, but beforehand when. You saw him separate the White Crew pirates. Or not the White Crew, the Straw Hats? Straw Hat Pirates. He separated the Straw Hat Pirates. I'm trying to remember if it was that, if he was cyborg yet.
You kind of... I think they tell you about him being a cyborg. They don't tell you about his last thing until way later when we go back to Shabandi. But this is when the fighting ramps up. They bring out the pacifistas, which forces the pirates, of course, to up their game to try and deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
A big point here, making Sengoku look like a genius, happens.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and take that?
So Sengoku is like a chess player of sorts, or shogi, whatever.
Same idea.
Same idea. I forget. They actually make mention of it that he's a very good tactician, and strategist. So Sengoku puts out the false information that there's a deal with Whitebeard that if he shows up and hands over his captains, then him and Ace can go free.
Yeah.
One guy actually believes this and stabs Whitebeard. Was it in the chest or in the back?
Well, in the back through the chest.
Okay, so stabs Whitebeard.
I think. Yeah.
But Whitebeard doesn't go down, and I think he forgives him in this.
Oh, he definitely forgives him. He basically Sword attacks him, at which point Marco freaks and grabs him and throws him to the floor. Mm-hmm. And says, "The hell are you doing?" And Sword tells him about the plan. And Whitebeard just basically turns around. And you kind of expect him to be, the pirate captain, the cruel, the guy who may care about his crew, but oftentimes people who care about their crews, when you commit treason, they excommunicate you effectively from the family and end you. And instead, he just gives him a hug. I mean, it's incredible because it shows forgiveness and caring. Yeah, he calls him a fool, but it doesn't change the fact that he's family. Yep. But it's sort of a little makes you kind of worry. Well,
Whitebeard looks at all of his crew as his sons. Yeah. So when it comes out like that, he even teach Blackbeard. Yeah. Until later in the story, he even looked at him as like as a son as well.
Yeah, Whitebeard's all about the family.
So he treats his crew as family.
Yeah.
And that was his pirate dream to build a crew family sort of deal.
The family he never had.
Yep.
And he kind of uses this rallying point almost.
Yep.
Whether intentionally or not, because basically everyone who had an idea might be some sort of treason sees what happens, sees Whitebeard forgive him. They rally heavily, and at this point, we really get down to business.
So Whitebeard gets involved. And the first thing he does is because he has the power of an earthquake.
The Guara Guara no Mi.
And he
Gura Gura, I forget which.
Nah, don't ask me.
I didn't.
There's only a handful of devil fruits in themselves that I can tell you what their powers are. But Whitebeard breaks the ice that is surrounding Marineford and that it's holding up the ships. So once he breaks the ice with an earthquake that shakes everything, I'm trying to think, did he take out the gallows?
Nope, he tried, but unfortunately the admirals kept the gallows functional. Yep. Because so you kind of have this issue where Whitebeard effectively has one of the almighty fruits, was what I believe they call it at some point. He has the fruit that can literally destroy the world if he causes a heavy enough earthquake. Yep. But you're dealing with the three major elements in the admirals. You have the utmost fire, magma. You have the upgraded version of water, ice. Yeah. And you have what is quite possibly the most broken type of fruit, which is not
Kuzan, but light. It's
light. It's Kizaru.
Kizaru
has light. He literally moves at the speed of the light and creates lasers. It's fairly ridiculous. Of the three ridiculous powers, I think that if used properly, his is definitely the most powerful because you can't hit light and you can't trap light.
True, but
I know Haki BS, but as a physics concept, light is definitely the strongest. Yep. But they're keeping it afloat and keeping it awake and not allowing it to fall.
So this is when Luffy and Whitebeard make a push themselves to go and get Ace. Beforehand, it was a lot of underlings. Yeah. Who tangles up with Whitebeard? Because I think it was basically
Whitebeard starts going and he's just mowing people down.
Yeah. It was the admirals that go and stop him.
Akainu does throw a big magma hound at him, calling him old. Mm-hmm. But the magma, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, Whitebeard just kind of takes all of their attacks, and every time they attack him with one, he throws it back to damage Marineford further, because they're trying to protect their base and kill Ace. Yep. So
meanwhile, on the Luffy end,
things don't go so well.
Well, Luffy gets a lot of help to get as far as he does. Yeah. And, Ace, meanwhile, this whole time, I think it should go without saying, is feeling sorry for himself. So,
I think he goes past. I think he hates himself at this point.
He hates himself so much that he's willing to die, and everyone is he has to watch everyone fighting like and getting themselves killed to save him, and I forget what point it is where he like realizes like, oh shit, I'm loved, but
I'm loved, but all the people that love me are dying.
Mm-hmm. Then like Luffy has a hard time in this arc because his grandfather is standing right there, and this is like the point where he says, "I am a Navy vice admiral."
You done skipped a couple of things there, buddy.
Well, so but I'm just like getting up there because I forget who it is that he has to go up against, but Luffy has to go up against. I want to say Doflamingo.
Luffy goes up against a bunch of people, and the basic theme here is that every time Luffy goes up against a vice admiral or someone better, he gets stopped, and somebody has to come save him.
Like Boa Hancock is there too, but she's like not going out of her way to stop him. Like
no, she's not trying to harm Luffy in any way.
But she's
subtly helping him.
Then there's
in fact, she even goes to stop the pacifistas.
Yeah,
to try and give them a better chance.
So it has to fight vice admirals. I want to say I know he fights Aokiji, the ice admiral.
Yeah, and he gets stabbed.
I know. I want to say Ivankov is the one that bails him out on that one.
I don't remember if it's Ivankov or not. I do remember that he gets knocked down pretty hard, and Ivankov has to hit him again with more hormones.
So
and basically tells him, "Look, this is your last shot. Any more of this will kill you, and you're gonna have a wicked hangover of sorts."
Yep. So let's see. One of the ones that Luffy has to fight is Koby. If you remember from the Water 7 arc and the Water 7 lets you know that Koby is a competent Navy soldier. Meanwhile, was it the first or second chapter that?
It's the first chapter that you meet Koby.
First chapter you meet Koby, and
he's literally the first character after Luffy that you meet.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of design in this series. Just to say it out loud, like duh. But Luffy has to fight Koby, and I think Koby was conflicted about fighting Luffy, because if he had a choice, I think Koby would have liked to have seen Ace get away or Ace live.
Yeah, I mean, I think Obi just wants it all to stop.
Towards the end, I know he definitely once Koby in this arc. I might as well just say it now, get it out of the way. Koby has a Haki moment in this story in that he has sensory type Haki.
Yeah, you don't know about it yet. At this point, it just looks like mantra to you.
But I'm just getting it out there now. At one point in this story, he becomes very aware of how everyone is feeling, and just he has a moment of clarity about what everyone's doing, and he doesn't have the sensibilities as some of his superiors. So I'll get to that later, but Luffy also has to go up against Garp, and
before that, yes, before that.
Okay, so that was before that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's why we wrote an outline.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of it.
No, the point of the outline was so that we know what we have to talk about. So
yeah, usually you put them in order, buddy.
What the hell? Pulp Fiction wouldn't have been half as good if it was in order. So
you ain't Tarantino.
Fuck that guy. I think I'm just as good. So anyway, I could steal from the best of them too.
We can add delusional to the list of qualities. All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Luffy lets everyone know that he has something called Conqueror's Haki, which we've discussed before. He used it at the slave auction. He used it. Trying to think in not Dressrosa, but I know, but I'm trying to think of Boa Hancock's island. What the hell is that?
Amazon Lily.
Amazon Lily. Okay, so. This is the first time the Navy finds out that Luffy has Emperor's Haki,
And of course, Luffy also doesn't know that he has Emperor's Haki. This is all unconscious.
Yep. And
remember what caused it?
They were about to kill Ace.
Yeah, they were about to execute Ace early.
Yeah.
And Luffy basically freaks.
Like, he just wills it to be, to stop.
And this is sort of the pattern with Luffy. You don't really know that other people have it at this point.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't even know it's called Emperor's Haki. You just know that every time he does this...
I think they discussed it with Boa Hancock that she has it too.
I thought that she said that it was he has that. I think he might have said the Emperor. She might have. That might be true. But at this point, you don't really know what it does. You just know that when
we've seen it twice before. We've seen it with Rayleigh. We've seen it with Boa Hancock.
I don't know if Rayleigh used it yet.
I think Rayleigh used it at the auction as well.
I'm not sure. He might have.
So anyway, and I think this is the point where like Ace starts wanting to live.
Yeah.
So after Luffy like does the Emperor's Haki, then it's like, I don't want to die, or at least I don't want like what they've done to go in vain.
I think it's more number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where Luffy fights Garp, and Garp lets him win.
Yeah,
but
he could have dodged and knocked Luffy out of the air, and he just doesn't.
And Garp was in a tough situation this whole time. Like he was being questioned the whole time, and he stepped up and said, "I am a Navy officer. This is what I have to do."
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, when he knocked Marco down.
Yep, but the in terms of like he cared about Ace. And,
absolutely, like a child.
And because he'd known him for his whole life. Raised him like family.
Mm-hmm.
And you see afterwards, Garp has a...
Has a nice flashback.
He has certain feelings after this arc, and so...
That too.
After Luffy gets past Garp, he has to... We're treated to Luffy versus Sengoku. And Sengoku is, he looks kind of ridiculous, but here's the thing about ridiculous characters in One Piece. They're usually the strongest ones.
Oh, yeah.
So, he turns into a giant Buddha.
I don't remember Luffy fighting him, but okay.
I know I watched the anime, so it could have been something they added.
Maybe,
but,
yeah.
But I know that, Luffy doesn't win.
No.
He just gets his ass kicked, but I think he manages to get Ace loose.
Yeah, they do rescue Ace. That is definitely true.
Yeah, Ace gets freed in this, guys. Unfortunately...
and they start running away.
In the running away part, Luffy has Ace's Vivre card. So... This is a card that has Ace's life force on it.
Yep.
So as long as that card is still there,
he's alive.
Ace is alive. Well, at this point, the Lava Admiral, the one that is set up as the designated asshole of the Navy, this is the guy that blew up a passenger ship at what was it, Okami?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Remember when they did a buster call on Robin's Island?
That wasn't a passenger ship. He blew up the damn island.
Not the damn island, but there was a ship of people.
Oh, he just let it get killed, destroyed in the buster call. He didn't care.
He ordered it himself or fired the gun. And everyone was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. So
he's the guy that automatically goes 0 to 100 in terms of being a dick. So
yeah, that's true.
So. Aikanu goes up against Luffy, and Luffy has been outclassed the entire time. And then Ace shows up to help out Luffy against him, but
it's a little more in depth than that because they're running away, and it's kind of this neat moment where they're fighting together, which is the thing you wanted them to do when they met in Alabasta, but they never did.
Mm-hmm.
And Luffy's now moved up to closer to, not maybe at, but closer to Ace's level. And it's remarked that, they must have truly been brothers. Their timing is perfect. Their combos are perfect. They don't have to talk to know what they're doing.
Yep.
And they're getting away, and they're successfully getting away. But Whitebeard has been sort of forgotten about, at least temporarily, by the reader. And Akainu starts goading Ace, saying, go ahead, go back to that old man, that washed-up has-been. And he starts sending out all these insults. And Ace willingly turns around to defend, quote-unquote, Pops. Which is what everyone calls Whitebeard.
Alright, so
after Akainu goads him, and of course, Luffy's not going to let Ace go alone. That's not a thing.
Yep.
And basically, Akainu overpowers Ace, overpowers Luffy.
Yep.
He's about to kill Luffy, and Ace does what every other character in this stupid show has done in this arc. It gets a little repetitive, my apologies, and that he sacrifices himself for Luffy.
Well, it's not even that, too, that, the way I remember it going down was Luffy had Ace's Beaver card, and it kind of hit Luffy hard enough that Luffy got distracted because Ace's card got knocked loose, so to make sure that he held on to it, he turned his back on Akainu and went to pick up the card. Meanwhile, Akainu's about to hit him with a kill shot, and Ace takes it for him.
Yeah.
He literally gets punched through the chest.
Yeah. Most of his organs are just gone.
And when Ace dies, the Beaver card in Luffy's hands burns up.
Yeah.
And so one of the big things about this story was this is the first major death of the series.
Yeah.
There's been characters that have died, but in terms of main characters or
main characters on screen in front of you,
yep.
permadead.
Yep.
This is the first one.
Yep. And the shockwave it sends throughout everyone is felt. Luffy
morale is crumbled.
Luffy is shot, not literally, but he is just spent. He did everything at Impel Down. He did everything at Marineford, and I want to say it's one of the saddest things in the series.
It's definitely in the top 5.
Yep.
He basically just stops. He goes, not comatose, but he just starts screaming. Yeah. And just loses his mind.
And Jinbei has to come over and
take a hit for him.
Grab him.
Well, not only that, first off, he has to stop a hit from Akainu.
Yep.
Which hurts him rather badly.
Yeah, because I think he does one of those 10,000 brick punches.
And that doesn't work too good.
Doesn't work.
Lava. Turns out lava can make water evaporate.
And it's mostly just steam that comes off of it. But so this is where Jinbei gets a scar, and so does Luffy. This is if you've ever seen a Google image search of Luffy, say if you're I don't know. I mean, whoever listens to a One Piece podcast right now probably is either a beginner or someone interested in this,
or just mesmerized by our charm, of course.
Or they are a super hardcore fan, and it's what the hell are you listening to us for? You probably are listening just to see how much we screw up.
The answer is a lot.
Get a life. So, Jinbei and Luffy Luffy gets the X scar on his chest from Akainu, and Garp sees Akainu kill Ace the way that he does, and
as he's getting away,
and Garp actually has to be held back because Garp has the I'm not saying the realization, but the feeling just rush over him. It's that was my family that he just killed, and
not a proper execution.
Yeah,
it was dirty tricks and tactics, trying to kill one and killing the other by accident, effectively, and then going after the next one. And he basically tells Sengoku, who, by the way, in full Golden Buddha form, is having difficulty pinning Garp down.
Yeah.
And he's got his palm literally flattening Garp against the ground.
Yeah.
And he's having trouble holding Garp back. It sort of gives you a rough sentiment of just how powerful this old guy is.
And not even that, just the the emotion of it. Like, that One Piece does one thing really well, and that is like when it decides to be like emotion stirring. Because I want to say it's this. Nami's mother getting killed. What's some other sad moments in One Piece that we probably would have already covered?
Mr. Two theoretically dying.
Mr. Two was one of the great, but that wasn't like sad. Like Nami's arc in the beginning at East Blue had a couple. Then, like, did Usopp have his like ultra sad moment yet, or?
I don't remember.
Because I think when he fought with Luffy, I think that was his sad moment.
Yeah.
And then...
But the point here being, just to cut to the chase a little bit, is that it's really good at jerking your emotions and making you feel what the author really intends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty incredible and masterful.
And it's... If you're just stumbling upon it, you could see the sadness, you could see the weight of it. But if you've been following from the beginning of the series, the moment Ace dies... Like, I had to, like, I binged watched the anime in 3 months. That is 800 episodes at the time in 3 months. So, I literally had to stop watching for an hour and just, like, put it on pause and just, like, collect myself. Like, I wasn't torn up over it. Like, I kind of knew it was coming from, like, having read some of the, like, the later chapters earlier. But the, like, Ace dying is probably one of like the main focal points of One Piece, and it's like there's the story before Ace dies and the story after Ace dies.
Yeah, and it sort of ties in with the end of an era, but essentially, actually, you kind of assume that Luffy's about to die too, and if you didn't know that he was the main character of the manga, you'd be pretty sure he was going to die. Mm-hmm. Except for there's somebody that everybody kind of forgets for a little while. He's kind of tall. He's got a white mustache, almost a beard, you might say, and a really big stick with a sharp end.
Buggy?
Yes, that's it.
So after that lead up, Whitebeard goes on the warpath. Like,
he just sneaks up on Akainu and punches the shit out of him.
Yeah, and I feel like I should mention Ace's last words at this point, because I don't know if he was like alive to speak to everyone, but I know that the last things he says are to the effect of, "Thank you, everyone, for loving me," and it's basically his way of saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. And Whitebeard, decides that he's going to take out the Navy at that point. So
yeah, it goes from "I want to save my friend" to "You're all gonna die."
Yeah. And
starting with you.
Mm-hmm. And like, as tough as the Navy admirals are, one Yonkou is better, or one Emperor is better than
well, at a minimum, this particular Emperor can whip their asses.
Yep. So,
which again makes you think Garp was able to fight with Goldie Roger evenly.
Yeah. And
Goldie Roger beat Whitebeard consistently.
Yep. And
you just get it's sort of like indirectly assumed then that if Whitebeard can remember at this point, we're not even talking about him in his prime. We're talking about him old on an oxygen tank, mm-hmm. and he's not fresh for the battle.
He's near death.
Like, he's already been
every time he's
stabbed
presented
through the
to
gut.
Us.
He's been hit with cannonballs. He's been shot.
Yep.
Been fighting on hours.
Yep.
Akainu kind of just stood there and watched. He's fresh and ready to go.
Yep.
The only exertion he's done is he's killed Ace.
Yep.
And Whitebeard, I mean, granted, he does sneak up on him because Akainu's cocky, but he damn near kills that son of a bitch.
Yep. And
if it weren't for Blackbeard, he would have.
Well, this is where, like, there's only so many ways this story can go, and because like the first time the battle turns is when Luffy shows up. And it's not so much that it turns; it's just that like Luffy is the only one that gets as close as he did to Ace. So he
gets close enough to save him in theory.
Yeah, and they could have gotten away with it, but like
Ace was stupid.
like Ace and Luffy were in a match for Akainu. So
And Ace couldn't let it go.
yep. So then Blackbeard shows up with his crew because if Luffy was a turn for the positive, then Blackbeard was a turn for the negative. It turns out that Blackbeard has turned into his crew the level 6
Level 6 inmates.
which so his crew went from
specific ones.
His crew went from 4 guys: him, Champion, that
Sniper.
that sniper that looks like a preacher,
Yep.
and the Black Death, the doctor, or was it Black Death?
Yeah,
or
the Doc.
The Doc. Doc, Black Death, or whatever, and it becomes more. Like, there's, like, was it 3 people, or...
I think it's 4. He gets the chick, he gets Shiryu.
Ugly chick, the
He
Shiryu.
gets I think he's a giant, and one more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So, Blackbeard shows up, and Whitebeard disowns him. Like, he says, "You are no longer my son." And,
Blackbeard, like, whatever.
Like, Blackbeard admits that, like, I have respect for you, but my dream is to be king of the pirates, and this is how I'm going to do it. And, like, it's, I think it's explained how ruthless Blackbeard is in this arc. It's, like, in the beginning, they were talking about it with Ace, like, going after to get him. Blackbeard's crew, he was a part of Ace's crew.
Well, he was part of the part of the Whitebeard's Pirates.
He was in Whitebeard's Pirates, but was he, like, under Ace, or...
Yeah, he was in the same, like, area, the same fleet as Ace. And when their guy died or left or whatever, Ace passed over him for the promotion.
But I don't think it mattered, like, to Whitebeard. Like, Whitebeard,
no, Blackbeard didn't care.
Blackbeard didn't care because
Blackbeard was only there for the one fruit.
He was there for the darkness fruit.
Yep, dark fruit.
Okay, and when one of the Whitebeard pirates discovered this particular fruit that Blackbeard was looking for, that he was waiting on...
Thatch.
Yeah.
That's the guy's name.
So, Blackbeard kills Thatch.
Yep.
And this is what sets off Ace chasing after him, and Whitebeard...
It sets off the whole chain of events.
Yep, and Whitebeard was like, you know what, I have a bad feeling about this, don't do it. Don't go after him, and then Ace was like, nope, I got him. And then Ace gets captured, chain of events, this is why we're here.
Yep.
And you're not treated to an extended fight between Whitebeard and Blackbeard.
No, it's pretty much just a beating.
But what Blackbeard has the ability to do because of the dark fruit is he basically reaches into Whitebeard and takes the...
Yeah, so that hasn't happened until after he's dead. So Whitebeard effectively... first off, it should be noted that Akainu does get in his own punch and blows basically a hole through the majority of Whitebeard's torso.
Yep.
And in the manga, he burns off half of his face.
Yep.
In the anime, it's just like half of his beard because, censoring. And then after that is when Whitebeard beats up Blackbeard. So he beats Blackbeard when he's already like very, very, very close to death.
Yep.
And then when Blackbeard loses, he calls in all of his friends and they shoot him repeatedly with hundreds of rounds from all of these individuals. And then Whitebeard, while still standing, passes away.
Yeah.
And that's when what you're talking about happens. He basically takes the darkness fruit.
Okay, because I was remembering...
circles them inside of darkness.
Yep.
And somehow extracts the fruit's power from Whitebeard's corpse.
Alright, and before...
Which also takes it out of the rotation of devil fruits, which is interesting. Not only does he get the power, but usually when a devil fruit user dies, their fruit goes back into whatever cosmic reincarnation wheel exists within this particular plant life.
Well, it gets even crazier than that. Blackbeard is the first person ever, recorded to be able to eat 2 devil fruits and not... They never explain in the manga or the anime what happens if you eat 2.
They say you die.
Well, they say you die, but they don't show it. They don't have a filler episode.
No, they don't ever touch it. I think it's probably something we're eventually going to see. And it's not even shown that he eats the fruit. What happens is effectively he encloses them both in darkness, and then after a short time he drops the darkness. Whitebeard's body, I think, is just gone, but I could be wrong. He could just be fallen. and he just has the power.
Yeah.
He eats the fruit. I think he just copies its abilities.
I couldn't.
It hasn't been confirmed.
They haven't touched upon
Rada for Blackbeard's ability.
Like One Piece and the amount of time that it's been going does not explain how devil fruits work.
I think we'll eventually get that.
I don't even know if we'll get that. I think it's just like established. It's like, all right, because I don't think they ever assigned a number of how many devil fruits there are.
No, they're not that foolish.
But they just say like, all right, there's these devil fruits.
They're really powerful.
if you eat one, you can't swim anymore, and that you're hated by the ocean.
Yep.
And then you can only eat one.
Yep.
And then if you die, like that devil fruit goes on to
back. Yeah.
It comes back somehow into the world.
It's actually kind of weird, because they say that there's never been anyone else recorded to have eaten 2 devil fruit abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But Blackbeard says that he learned about the darkness fruit from some book that's apparently an encyclopedia of devil fruits. So somebody knows all of the fruits, or at least knows a bunch of them. But more importantly, he wanted it because it had that ability, which would imply that somewhere in history it was recorded that somebody used that ability to do it. So by saying that he knew the ability existed before he got it, which is why he wanted it, there must have been someone, even if we just don't know the name or who it was, who had 2 abilities.
Okay.
Because otherwise you wouldn't really want that much.
I remember the name of that island, by the way. I think the O'Hara people.
Might have been them, yeah.
They were looking into the Lost Century.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that book that you're talking about right now, this is a fan theory conjecture.
Yep.
That book was probably written during the Lost Century.
Oh, definitely.
That the world government has basically said we do not want this 100 years to recorded.
Yep.
To exist.
Yep.
So they kill anybody that looks at. So.
But.
And I think that has something to do with the Celestial Dragons, but because one of the last things that Blackbeard or Whitebeard says before he dies is that he lets people know about the prophecy of the D.
Well, he knows that the will of D is still alive, is what he tells them. He doesn't tell them the whole prophecy, and he also tells them that One Piece is real, reignited the Pirate Age.
Yep.
But I think we can probably just about finish this off, because the last major thing that happens after Blackbeard's got Whitebeard's ability and a whole bunch of people have died is our friend that originally fought against Luffy for a short while earlier.
Yeah.
Comes out and kind of pulls a clutch move.
Sort of.
Unintentionally.
It's definitely clutch, but Koby, after getting knocked out by Luffy, he wakes up from getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And he just has a sense of what's going on.
Yep.
So much so that it's actually his Haki has awakened.
Yep.
But it's just it's not awakened Haki, but it is
Yeah, I expect to be careful about that now, right? His Haki powers manifested. Let's use that.
They're manifested, which we haven't even been explained awakened yet. We're not going to get into it here, but
and I don't want to.
So
level 2.
The type of Haki that Koby has he can feel everyone's emotions, and he could just feel the pain of everyone at once. And he just has one of those moment of clarities. It's like, why the hell are we doing this?
There's no point anymore. The person they were here to save died.
Yep.
The person trying to save him, the big one anyway, died.
Yep.
There's no point to this violence anymore. And he just screams out, stop.
Yep.
And it just halts the battlefield.
Well, when he gets in front of Akainu, and Akainu is the one guy on the battlefield that
is not going to listen.
That is absolutely not going to listen.
No chance whatsoever.
No chance, because this is the guy that, without being told, he burns the place down.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Every one of the Admirals' abilities, generally speaking, correlate to both their name, in his case the Red Dog, and also their ability. The ultimate fire guy is hot-tempered.
Yeah. And I don't know if he takes. I don't think he takes pleasure in it, but I do think he goes out of his way to make sure that the job is done to the way he thinks it should be done.
Yep.
So he'll like he'll kill the innocent people to like him. He is a total ends justifies the means type person.
Yep. His justice is not blind. It is absolutely overbearing.
Yep. And instead of killing Koby in that second, Koby gets saved by Shanks.
More Deus Ex Machina. We haven't had enough yet.
So, like, because the battle turned when Blackbeard showed up, it turned again when Shanks, who is himself another emperor, and the Navy cannot fight two emperors in one day. It can fight one, barely, and get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that if Teach wasn't around, Akina would be dead.
Yeah.
This would not be happening.
So he goes up, and he doesn't show off his powers at all, but he does show off some of his crew. And
only a little bit.
We're introduced to some of the people that were introduced in the beginning chapters of One Piece.
Yeah, this is the first time you see the red-haired pirates,
and
in a very, very long time.
I couldn't tell you, like, comparison-wise, like, if there was that much of a difference between the first time we meet them and the...
They look very similar.
They're very similar.
Shanks is a little more weathered and a little older.
Yep.
But the rest of them we saw so little of that they all look congruent.
Yep. Like, trying to think. We saw Usopp's dad. We
see Yasopp. We see Ben Beckman. We see Lucky Roo.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that come out that stand out in my head. And basically, the three people I just mentioned stalemate the admirals instantly. Not even talking about Shanks' abilities and the rest of his crew that's there. And the Marines realize that they just barely killed Whitebeard, and even so, all of Whitebeard's subordinates are still there.
Yep.
And they've taken heavy losses. Garp is unusable. Sengoku's busy stopping Garp from taking all of them down.
Yep.
And they realize that if Shanks' people get involved, if they can stalemate the three pirates with not the captain, then imagine what the captain and all of the rest of the crew can do to the battle that's currently hinging right around the even point.
So,
and Sengoku ends the battle.
The Navy wins.
The Navy wins. They'll call it their win.
Yeah.
But Sengoku respects Akaine Red Hair enough to note that not only will we stop, but you can have the bodies to bury.
Yep.
It should be noted that right about the time that this happens, Buggy's been kind of working with a couple of the other people like Crocodile and Mr. 3.
Yep.
And a few others to basically evac Jinbei and Luffy. And basically, I think it's Ben Beckman who deals with Kizaru, who's just about to kill Luffy when this all happens. So Koby comes in at like the perfect time. And
Shanks
halts it just long enough for Shanks to show up.
Yep.
Which is in just enough time for them to stop Kizaru from finishing off Luffy. Then instead, Buggy basically freaks, throwing him and Jinbei onto Trafalgar Law's ship.
Which, by the way, Law has been there the whole time, or just shows up. I forget which.
No, he's been there. He's been like, I ain't getting involved in this shit show.
Yep.
It's not really clear why he showed up, other than maybe curiosity.
I think Law is being established as
important, but not stupid.
Important, but not it's not established like whose side he's on.
Yeah. So they kind of his submarine comes up. They're trying to evac Luffy, which is sort of foreshadowing to later events, and they do. He gets Luffy on the ship because the red hair stops the admirals just in time.
Yeah, Luffy doesn't get to hang out with Shanks at all like that. They don't meet up. I don't even think Luffy knows that Shanks was there.
He probably does now, but he definitely didn't know then.
Like once Ace dies, Luffy is done. He doesn't do anything.
Luffy's out. He no longer cares if he lives or dies at that point.
He gets saved by Jinbei. He gets saved by Buggy. He gets saved by Crocodile. He gets saved by
everyone in the damn cast.
Everyone that he brought with him helps him get out of there.
Even Whitebeard dies effectively in the process of saving his ass.
Yeah, and
although not directly because of Luffy.
I'm trying to think.
That's how the war ends, man.
It ends when Shanks arrives, basically.
Yeah,
so.
Sengoku says, we call this war over. Everyone take your dead. And let's leave it at this. Pirates go home. We won't attack any further. Stop attacking us. We stop.
Is there any immediate fallout? Because I remember in the anime, the next episode after Marineford was the flashback episodes to like Luffy and Ace as kids.
Right, under Dadan's watch. I don't remember 100%, but I know that at least for the war component of things,
Yeah.
arc is officially when Sengoku says it's our win, but we'll stop here, and you just see the submarine basically just get underwater and hightail its ass out of there.
Well, there was a couple things.
What did we miss?
Well, Gecko Moria.
Well, he doesn't die until after the war is technically over.
Yeah, that's the fallout.
It is part of the fallout, but that's considered part of the post-war arc.
Okay, so and
very shortly after the war, but nonetheless into the next arc.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I was wondering if it was something like that, and then
this arc ends right here when Shanks stops it and Luffy gets away. The post-war stuff like that, and the stuff with the pacifistas, and what happens after Luffy gets out that I don't want to talk about just yet, because that's the next arc.
Okay.
That's all considered like the next bit of this saga.
All right, well, that might as well end there then. So this was War of the Best, the Marineford arc, which was the War of the Best was Impel Down, and it was this.
Yeah, War of the Best is this. Impel Down is like the start of it. The post-war arc is kind of part of it, but it's more. This is the Marineford arc.
Yeah.
The Paramount War, and it's pretty huge. There's a lot. I mean, as much as we talked about, we could probably do another hour or two on things that are
there was like a lot of small details.
Details that are kind of big but not huge.
Like Val didn't join up with Doflamingo,
nope.
even though
he could.
But here's the thing about when we're talking about like those small details. I'm not sure because I've read only like the manga for like the last couple hundred chapters, and the rest is informed by me watching the anime and skipping the filler. So, like, I can't say for full certainty what happened in the show versus what happened in the actual books, which I always defer to the books because that's the source material.
Mm-hmm.
But, alright, thinking about it now, I know, like, Blackbeard was a warlord. That's why he showed up.
Well, he dropped from the Whitebeard Pirates. He had originally turned in Ace as a means of becoming a warlord. He wanted to be a warlord because he wanted to get Impel Down to recruit the rest of his crew. He's definitely a plotting schemer.
He's a plotting schemer, but like he actually like double backstabs everyone. So he
not trusted by anyone.
He renounces his warlordship pretty much on the spot when he gets the earthquake fruit.
Yeah, he's pretty much figured that now that he's got the earthquake fruit, he's got the darkness fruit, he's got the crew that he wants.
Yep, he can become
now hot shit.
He can become an emperor if he wants to.
And it turns out he's right.
And well, Teach was he wasn't considered worst generation, right?
No, he's before that.
So he's before the worst generation, all right?
He's older.
I know he's older, but like I'm trying to figure out if
he's not. He is a member of the D clan, but he's not the worst part of the worst generation.
Yeah, because it's Marshall D. Teach.
Yep.
So, all right. So we might as well end it here. Anything else? We're going into other arcs that we'd have to start up and finish.
Yep.
So, just give it a little preview. What? Go to the post-war arc and let's see what that one entails.
Post-war arc, I can just tell you flat out. Starts with Luffy getting to the Amazon Lily. Mm-hmm. We go back to the island. We deal with the fallout of his coma and traumatic event.
Yep.
Him being in that state is where we get the bunch of flashbacks that you were trying to reference earlier.
Yeah.
He deals with Jinbei. He's going to deal with a individual that I don't want to name yet because it'll ruin spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go back and they do the whole changing from 3 days to something else. That's all.
The ringing of the bell and all that stuff. Okay.
So I mean that would be kind of rough to do now.
All right, that's what you guys have to look forward to in the next month or so that it takes me and Aaron to get together and talk about One Piece for an hour.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, peace.
Have a good night.